Chapter 34, Episode 9, Storytime Part 2. And with this, we officially break the 100,000 word milestone. The Father's eyes exploded wide open, her smirk grew into a full-on maniacal grin, and her hands yanked roughly on Zero's neck. The sudden motion caused Zero to lose his balance and stumble forward. The Father used the opportunity to drive a knee into his midsection. The surprise attack forced the air from Zero, doubling him over and stunning him. He was helpless as the Father wrapped an arm around his neck, catching him in a headlock, and kicked him several times. Later on, he'd have been grateful for the fact that he was a Reploid. Otherwise, his nose would have probably been pulverized by how many times her heel crashed into it. As it was, each hit dizzied him more and more. After 3 or 4 hits, he wasn't sure how many. Miss Fair confirmed it was actually 5. She missed with 1 and grazed him. She finally released her hold on him. Before he could recover, though, she hooked 1 foot with her own and shoved him roughly from behind. He moved through Zero into the pool the Father had been swimming in. She laughed as she watched him struggle in the water. As he sank toward the bottom, he flailed around, trying to reorient himself. "Come on, Red," the blue Reploid taunted. "I thought you were better than that." She watched as his struggling slowed. He must be gathering his senses. If it were possible, her smile would have grown even larger. "You could stop making it sound like I was a total nutcase, you know." Mom, who since calmed and sat down, rolled her eyes. "Considering just how far you'd lost your mind just a minute ago, I don't think it's too great an exaggeration. It didn't hurt that you really were that insane at that point." Mr. huffed. "Hey, it wasn't my fault. I didn't know what you'd done for my brother at that point. I thought you destroyed him. I had to jump in there." Wait. You tell me this was after..." "Yes," Mom jumped in. "But enough about that. Let's get back to the part with the blue mental patient." Turning in a small, quick twirl, the violent lowered herself into a side split, crossing her arms under her chin. Zero slowly turned in the pool in front of her. Through the rippling waves, she could see that he managed to draw the hood of his signature sea saber. Her smile faded slightly. "You can't really think you can do anything to me from down here, can he?" "I only have 1 chance at this, and if I'm wrong, I'm scrap anyway." With the jab of his thumb, Zero activated his sword. A light green energy pulse fired out from the sword's hilt, forming itself into the blade of his trusty weapon. He could hear the water hiss around him as the water around his sword evaporated. His eyes scanned the ceiling above the Leviathan. He could see the turrets in the room rotate and train themselves in his direction. A split second later, the weapons opened fire in the pool. Again, I couldn't help myself. "What were you thinking? Were you trying to call bluff or something?" Dad shook his head. "No, that wasn't at all. He pointed to Miss Fair. Wasn't someone who tended to bluff about things. No, I had something else in mind." The Leviathan let the outer cannons fire for several seconds. Her hot plasma met with cool water in a combination of thick mist and loud hissing. Evaporated water filled the room above the pool quickly, plaguing it to the point where visibility was nearly non-existent. Nearly a minute later, a thought came to the Blue General. Wait, why are the cannons still firing? If they did their jobs and destroyed Zero, shouldn't they have stopped by now? It wasn't until a few seconds later that she got her answer. She felt something cold hit her feet. Looking down, she could see that she was suddenly ankle deep in water. The outer cannons then quickly stopped firing. The Leviathan quickly got up from her spot by the pool and raced the door to her quarters, water sloshing around her feet. She opened the door, allowing the steam to quickly blow out of the room. Once the haze lifted enough to see, she ran back to the pool and peered in. Set of a pile of melted mechanical parts, she could see the reason why the cannons fired far longer than they should have. A hole, just below where Zero was submerged in a pool, and apparently cut open with a blade. Water continued to flow into the room from where the hole was cut, though the now open door allowed much of it to flow out into the hall outside. Alarms started to blare in the room. The submarine listed without warning, the jolting of the ships tilting during the fire down fleet with a yelp and into the sea water. "I can't believe this." Though the water largely muted her, the Leviathan let loose what would have otherwise been a blood-curdling screech. Now I start to laugh. At first, I thought she would have gotten mad about it, but Miss Fair seemed to be trying to hold back a new wave of laughs herself. I had to give Zero credit. The idea was pretty smart. I hadn't thought about creating an exit when I couldn't get to one. The fact that Zero came with the idea while still routed in the head was enough to show me just how much I had to learn when it came to being a maverick hunter. Sure, finding war and being a hunter were very different things, but if the PO Army were telling the truth, then maybe there was something I could learn from their fights that I could use in my own. especially the Mavericks Burkana had working for her were as tough as Archon and Sorion, or tougher. I could shiver at that particular moment, I thought. I think I did. Zero swam as quickly as he could, slicing through various walls, doors, and floors blocking his escape. He knew he had to get as far away as quickly as he could. With any luck, he could get out the sub and get transported away before the whack job behind him could catch up. If the muffled screaming he heard before was any indication, Leviathan would be on him sooner than he would have liked. Mentally burying himself for knowing better, he stole a glance behind him. The darkness of the wall around him made it difficult to see things at a distance. The fact that he couldn't actually see her did nothing to make him feel any better. Leviathan, after collecting himself enough to try and give chase, drew her frost javelin and sped through the water. Her armor design, as well as a few hidden hydrojets for speed. I knew you were a cheater. Oh, shut up. Being a fleshy swimmer doesn't make me fast. My design is supposed to let me get around easily over short distances. I don't have the natural speed to make long distance trips quickly, so I was equipped with hydrojets to help with that. I lowered her slides to the seaward with ease. She wasn't sure how much of a head start Zero had on him thanks to her not catching on to him sooner, but she was confident that whatever advantage he had was going to disappear before he had a chance to enjoy it. She briefly wondered how Zero was able to cut through so much of the ship as quickly as he did. While her quarters were in the middle of the ship, they weren't exactly next to the hull either. Either way, she knew he had to write the submarine off as a loss. It was a shame. Leviathan was her favorite ship. You never did actually tell me how you did that. Dad looked puzzled. Do what? Cut through enough of the sub to cause take on water. Oh, that. I'm not exactly sure, to be honest. I probably had to drain the pool or something. I would imagine that I didn't think submarines worked that way, but I just had to let it go. After all, it wasn't the first time Seer had done something that he, by all rights, shouldn't have been able to do in the first place. At least from what I've read, anyway. Zero swam as quickly as he could, cutting down various hostile mechanoids trying to stop him from making his escape. He had fought Leviathan in the past, both on water and dry land. While she was formidable in either location, if you had to be honest, he would rather fight her on land. That's my jelly-based design that had intimidated you. I wasn't being intimidated. I was trying to press whatever advantage I could. Whatever makes you feel better. The water around the Leviathan darkened the farther she swam. She smiled. For most people, be they human or reploid, the visual range dropped greatly in deep water like this. The Leviathan wasn't most people. With little more than a thought, she activated her optical enhancers. She then started to laugh to herself. While it would seem to anyone else that she had simply lost her mind, it was necessary for her visual enhancements. It worked like echolocation. Her lips would carry through the water and bounce off of her surroundings. The sound waves would then bounce back to her, where her brain would create additional map for her to navigate with. What, you expecting me to have the ship schematics memorized or something? I took the chance to answer that. Yeah, it was your sub after all. It's fair, to my surprise, seemed okay with that response. Fair enough. The problem, though, is that I hadn't memorized two normal means. I don't cut my way through a ship, especially not one submerged as deeply as we were. In fact, the Zero saw he swam for miles. Eventually, though, he finally came to the ship's outer hull. Once he was sure he was clear of the ship, he jammed the button on the side of his hand and sent a text message. They had text messages back then? Not in the way you have them today, Iris, Miss Fair explained. Text messages were sent over radio waves in cases where it was either too risky to send visual and audio transmissions, or when one side of the mess was somehow unable to do so. In this case, Dad picked up, the water would have muted my voice too much for me to be understandable. Which is suspects? This is Zero. Ah! The red reptile barely had time to start his message before Sana tracked him down and slashed at his back with her spear. The strike slowed him down enough for the father to swim around him, delivered for a powerful kick to his midsection. She hit him with enough force to send him to the side of the rapidly sinking sub, undoing the progress he'd made. Zero bounced off the ship's hull. Leviathan quickly closed in, preventing him from recovering enough to defend himself. She attacked him with her frost javelin, stabbing at him with quick strikes. It was all he could do to keep her from doing any real significant damage. He had his arms in front of him, attempting to deflect the pulse she aimed at his chest. Leviathan, for her part, saw that she wasn't able to get through his guard. After one last set of stabs, she raised her false javelin intended to strike him from above. Zero used this chance to kick out the side of the sub, barreling into Leviathan. While the attacker did nothing to injure or damage her, it served the purpose that he wanted. Leviathan had been taken by surprise and knocked away from the potent Reploid. Resistance Zero, repeat your last. While the Leviathan was still reeling, Zero began to rapidly swim toward what he hoped was the surface. Resistance, Zero. Requesting immediate transfer for current location. Mission failed. Repeat, mission failed. The Blue Gem recovered from the tackle. Seeing Zero swimming towards safety, she swung her spear and all rocks around her. With these swings, several micro-rockets surged towards Zero. She could see every projectile lock into their target. She smiled to herself. Even only 1 to 20 odd rockets hit their mark,